Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's Jo here. I hope you're all well and had a wonderful weekend. For today's project, I wanted to make some ornate flower displays for my bathroom. You could do these in any colour that you want. You don't have to do them in the colours that I picked, but I picked these colours to match my bathroom. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you leave a comment, I will reply. And if you like the video and it gives you some inspiration, it'd be wonderful if you consider joining our family and friends. For all them returning, thank you so much for your continued support, guys. Honestly, it means the world to me. I love you guys so much. So yeah, let's get into today's project. So for the pots for the displays, I'm using these that I picked up from Poundland last year, and they have an indent on them saying flowers and garden, and I just really like the shape of these. And I'm also using some of the little cherubs again from Poundland. They were in the garden section last year, and I'm also going to spray paint the pots and the cherubs in the car spray paint, and again this is matte black and it's also from Poundland. Once everything was sprayed and dried, I'm going to use some enamel paint. This is in gold and I picked it up from a DIY shop. I think it's for models, and I'm going to use this to bring the details up in the centre of the pot. And using the smallest brush that I have, I'm just going to paint over the letters and the small details that are in the centre. Once the gold is dry, I'm going to add some detail to the front, at the top and the bottom, and I'm using gold tile tape. This is left over from another project, and yeah, I really like this stuff. I've just ordered some more from AliExpress in blue and green, and it's less than a couple of pounds including postage, and you get an awful lot. So I'm just going to add 6 pieces to the bottom and 6 pieces to the top, and this is self-adhesive, so you can just peel off the back and then put it in place. Then to hide the ends of the strips, I'm going to take some more gold tape and pop it around the outside of the pots. So now that the gold tape is in place, I'm going to work on the cherubs a little bit, and I did spray paint them outside, and there's some sections that the spray paint missed. So I'm just going to use some black acrylic paint and a sponge, and I'm just going to go over the sections that need covering, and then I can let these dry. So now the cherubs are drying, I've taken an old cardboard box and I've drawn 4 circles by tracing around the top of the pot. I've done 4 because I need 2 for each of the pots, and I'm going to glue these together with some hot glue just to make them a little bit stronger. I want them to sit in about the centre inside the pot, so I've managed to find a lid off a tub that's the right size, and I'm just going to make my circles a little bit smaller. Then once they're the right size, I can glue them together with some hot glue, and then I'm just going to use a little bit of black acrylic paint to paint the top of them so you won't be able to see the cardboard in the inside of the pots. So before I put my cardboard on the inside, I need to add some weight to the bottom, and I'm going to use some stones that I got left over from B&M's that I paid 50p for, and I'm going to use some hot glue and glue these in place. You could use rice, you could use kitty litter, there's lots of different things you can use to add weight. I'm just using these because I know I'm not going to use them for anything else, and I'm just adding a little bit of glue so they're not rattling around at the bottom of the pot. And then before I put my cardboard in, I'm just going to take some sheets of white paper, scrunch them up, and then put these at the bottom. This is just in case the glue doesn't hold, and hopefully it will keep the stones in place. And then the last thing to do is just add a little bit of glue to the sides of the cardboard, and then I can glue these into the pots. Now to add a little bit of decoration to the top of the pots, I'm adding some little bits of plastic greenery that I have, and I'm just going to start in the center. You won't be able to see this at the end, and I'm just going to glue them as and where I want them. And I'm not going to go all the way around the pot, I'm just going to go about 3/4 of the way, and I'm going to do exactly the same for both pots. Then I'm adding some of these gold beads. These are just Christmas decorations, and I'm going to start by gluing a piece in the center, draping it how I want it to lie around the outside of the pot, and then I'm going to cut this and count how many beads there are, and then I'm going to cut another 3 pieces in exactly the same length so that they're all the same, and then I'm just going to glue this from the front to the back and then do the same on the other side as well. Then to finish off the center, I've got some of these clear gems, and these are from Poundland, and I'm going to spray paint these in gold, and then I'm going to attach them to 2 small pieces of the gold beading and then glue these into the center of the pots. Then for the center at the top of the pots, I'm going to use some of these paper roses, and I picked these up in a charity shop for 50p. I'm just going to cut it off the stem and then use a little bit of hot glue and glue this into the center to hide where we glued all the beads in place. So to finish off the cherubs, I'm doing some dry brushing using the same gold enamel paint that I did the lettering at the beginning of the video, and I'm just dipping my brush in the paint, taking off the excess and then working my way around all of the cherubs. I want the dry brushing to be quite heavy, so I'm going to do a couple of coats, and I'm going to do this and then let them dry. And here are the cherubs painted. They're still wet, but I love how they've turned out. And yeah, I love this technique and I will be doing more of it in the future. So while they're drying, I'm going to add some Oasis into the inside of the pots. But before I do that, I need to make a hole in the center of the cardboard. I'm just going to use my craft knife and just make a small hole. And then I can glue the Oasis in place. So now I'm going to add these. Now I made these a couple of weeks ago. There is a video showing you step by step on how to make them, and I wasn't going to use them for this project, but they just looked perfect, so I ended up using them. I made 3 originally and I ended up using 2 for this, so I've still got 1 left for a future project. But all I'm doing is pushing it into the Oasis and into the hole that I made so that it stands nice and straight, and I'm really happy with how these are looking. And yeah, like I said, I wasn't going to use them, but they were just perfect for them. I also want to make some other decorations for the pots as well. I'm going to make 12, so I'm going to do 6 for each pot, and these are just the diamond gems from Poundland, just counting out 12, and then I'm going to cut 12 pieces of wire at 9 inches in length, and this will be the stems for the decorations. And then I'm just going to spray paint my gems. I'm using some cocktail sticks and I just bend the top of them so that they will stay upright, and I can spray them easily outside. So now that my gems are dry, I'm going to do a little bit of beading, and I'm going to take a piece of the wire, add some glue to the top and pop a pearl in place. Then I'm just going to add another bead of glue to the top of the pearl just to keep it in place so it doesn't fall down the wire. And then I'm going to thread some black and gold seed beads on in the pattern that I want until I'm happy with the length. I'm not going to do the whole length of the wire because most of this is going to be pushed into the Oasis. Then once I'm happy with the length of the beads, I'm going to take the last bead and move it out of the way, add some glue to the wire and then push this into the glue and it will all stay in place. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the gold gem to the top of the pearl, and I'm going to do 12 of these that I can add into the flower display. So the last thing I'm going to do before I do the flower arrangements is add the cherubs, and I'm going to sit them on each side of the pots and I'm going to glue these in place. I need to add some glue to the wing because it just touches the stem, and then I'm also going to add a decent amount of glue around the rim of the pot and then glue this in place. So the last thing to do now is the flower arrangements. Now I've never done any floristry, I'm not trained, I just give it a go and it always seems to turn out okay. What I normally do is I always make sure that I do the same for each one if I'm doing 2 of the same thing, and I always make sure that they are symmetrical when I'm adding leaves and flowers as well. All the leaves and flowers that I'm pretty much using are from my local market that I pick up for £1. Obviously with lockdown I haven't been for months, but I've got a few bits left over from other projects that I'm going to use for this. The only other thing that I'm going to be using is some little green furry things, and I got them from AliExpress. And then the 2 flower balls at the front that go next to the cherubs, they were actually from Poundland. I got them quite a while ago. So I'm just going to pop some music on and speed up the camera so you can watch me do the flowers and the leaves. And I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys. I will show you exactly what they look like when they're finished and what they look like in my bathroom. And yeah, we'll get on with me doing the flowers. And here they are, and I absolutely love these. I cannot believe how they turned out. Seeing that I used scraps of leaves and flowers, I think the floral displays are absolutely lovely, and I love the cherubs, I love the pots, and obviously the decorations that are sat in the middle, I absolutely love that I made a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I'm really proud of this one, and I'm absolutely in love with these, and they're going to look so nice in my bathroom. So I'm going to take some close-up pictures, then I'll take a couple of pictures of where they are in my bathroom, and I will be back on Thursdays, guys, with a video. I think I'm going to go for a walk, and there's a couple of things I want to talk to you about, so I think that's what Thursday's video is going to be. So I hope you've enjoyed, I hope it inspires, and I will see you all on Thursday. Till then, take care, bye for now.